Hello, hello. Okay, I think we'll just get started. Before we jump into the panel, as usual, let's just start with a round, introduction. Maybe Deli, you can start first.
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Deli from Automata. Really glad to be here. We're actually building very important infrastructure nowadays. It's trusted execution environment or TEs. It can be used in many use cases such as like multi-provers or just now like Yaoqi mentioned, verifiable AI. You can verify like whether you have a truly autonomous AI agent. So again, glad to be here and looking forward to have a really fruitful discussion with other panelists.
Hey everyone, my name is Ismail. I'm the co-founder of Lagrange. Lagrange is a zero-knowledge proof company. We build proving systems and apply them across a wide variety of problems in crypto, ranging all the way from applications in DeFi and NFTs to proof generation for rollups, and one of our recent products that we're the most excited about, verifiable machine learning, an area that can add trust and safety, verifiability, and a bunch of other very relevant properties to how inference is being generated and used on-chain or in security-critical environments.
Hey guys, I'm Wen. I recently joined Kaito to build that ecosystem and special projects. Before this, I used to be actually a KOL myself. So to find Kaito kind of is a platform for KOLs, content creators, and it uses AI to index every single poster of crypto content, and we generate a bunch of data from that and have a lot of products that maybe I can talk about later. But so I kind of moved from being a KOL now to sort of building this platform that helps manage them.
So my name is Arthur. I just flew in from California. I'm CEO and co-founder of Hemera. In short, Hemera is the data layer that provides infrastructure to many blockchain ecosystems, on top of which people build blockchain explorers, indexers, and many other like core infrastructures. And recently we started exploring building AI agents to help users trade memes. Okay, so that's a very quick introduction. I think today's topic is actually pretty, I think it's in the great timing. Because if you look at the market right now, right, like we're definitely in the middle of a big transition. So so let's start with the first question. Try to keep it brief. So the first question is really, does narrative still matter, or to the contrary, if you look at the title, right, like has the crypto started to shift to more focus on PMF, and why this is the case? Let's start with maybe Wen.
Sure. So I kind of feel two ways about this, because actually I wish it wasn't the case that we could just find product market fit, and certain projects that who have product market fit can stay relevant, stay sexy for forever. But I think we noticed that, especially in crypto, it's not really the case. We do have narratives that come and go because people are excited about certain technologies, and then maybe the
So yeah, let's focus on questions. So does the narrative still matter?
well, the answer is definitely yes. Right?
Okay.
So
Why this is the case?
because exactly as I was saying, because narrative matters, because projects they run out of attention very quickly, and so they try to chase these narratives, and narratives are very, very important for them, because if they don't chase the narrative, they won't get any users at that moment, and they're really trying to chase the same set of users that every other project is. So if every user and if every investor is looking into a certain narrative at a certain time, it's very important that projects kind of stay on top of those, or try in any other way to garner attention, really.
Cool. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to push back a little bit on that question, because narrative is the product in many cases. And in crypto, you're operating in an attention economy. What you're trying to do is to derive from, in many cases, usage of your product from users in the space. And so if what you're doing isn't relevant to consumers and retail users, then you're not building a product that has PMF. So narrative is simply just the collective zeitgeist of what retail's interested in at a point in time. And if your product is retail facing, which most things in crypto are, then it's very important that people want to use your thing. So it does matter.
Yeah, I think this is definitely jumping into the second question, but let me clarify a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So you said narrative is a product.
Yes.
So okay, so but you also mentioned user have to use your product. How do they use a product that's a narrative?
So they use a product that is the embodiment of a narrative. The narrative is the representation of what they're thinking, what they're excited about, what they want to use, and something that sits within that, a company that builds a product that sits within a hot narrative, has something that a user uses. So the product has to be usable, but that's table stakes. You can build a bunch of usable stuff that people don't want to use. The internet's littered with companies and websites that do things that people don't care about. The thing that people want to use is the product that has a narrative. The narrative is the scarce thing that a company is trying to obtain.
Yeah, so let me quickly summarize, right? Like, so I think this is a great point, right? So narrative is a product, and a product, in order to have a product market fit, it has to have a very strong narrative.
Yes, if for something to have PMF, it needs to have narrative.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll come back to this question in the second round of question. But Dali.
Yeah, I think a narrative is kind of inevitable situation. It's like a black hole. Sometimes everyone got dragged into, right? It's, for example, like if you look back at 2020 when we had DeFi summer, pretty much all the projects were doing this, right? They're either doing lending or doing like yield farming, doing all sorts of things. And if you're doing something else, it's very hard, even as a founder, for you to even raise money. I think this is the kind of the black hole situation. But still, in this crypto market, right, there are just like different waves. Now we've also seen like NFT booms. We've also seen like MEV as a kind of narratives. We also seen like recently maybe like meme coins or AI agents. All these things will like always come up, right? Like no matter what. It's like human nature, right? Sometimes you always get captured. Your attention is always attracted to something like fresh and new, and it's actually also the driving force for the initial adoption because you kind of create a like community, right? There are a community that consists of founders, investors, builders who are getting together just to maybe have a try to see if this this path worked out or not. But on the other side, like PMF is kind of ensures your like long-term success, right? If you look at right now, who's still there? Uniswap is still there. They are still the like best like AMM DEX. But on the other side, I know that recently one of the NFT marketplace actually decided to shut down. I won't be named that, but it's a kind of a sad situation. Also, like if you look at all the meme coin stuff, it's pretty like dying down already. So I think PMF is really something that every founder has to figure out, maybe after like so many different narratives. And also, I believe every...
Yeah, let me jump in. So in your view, PMF is much more important than narrative?
Yeah, it's like the kind of the ending thing for your product, right? But before that, it's like you're climbing mountains or riding waves of like different narratives.
Okay, so we have a fourth speaker who just arrived. Dada, you want to join us? So maybe you can introduce yourself first.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm late. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm a co-founder at Dodo and also a core contributor at Native. Yeah, both decentralized exchange. Yeah, for on-chain liquidity.
Cool. Yeah, let me give Dada a very quick summary. So we had a first, question discussion. So and very interesting, we have a spectrum of answers. So basically, Wen from Kato thinks narrative is the number one thing people should focus on because that's what matters most. And Isma is like, hey, it's the same thing. Narrative is a product. And Dali is like, hey, product market fit eventually will be the only thing builder, shoot for. What's your view?
Oh, actually, I think both narratives and product market fit are important. Yeah. So I think narratives is beyond the crypto landscape. It's more about like human just like stories. Yeah. It's like before the day we die, we will always chasing for stories, right? Because it is like the hope for the future, right? So I think narratives will always be there, and then there will always be some like ambitious people and people with dreams and also idealists to bring out new narratives like not just crypto but also like the space, right? Like AI, how to make human better and how to make the world better, right? And with new technology like AI, how the world will be changing, right? How to save human life, right? So I think this is beyond crypto space, and some of the narratives will be related to crypto, and that will still be a big topic that attract a lot of people to spend their time, spend their smart brains on these big topics. But I think at the current stage, we should all be very, very focused on product market fit, right? Because users
Okay,
are
so
living.
so which one is more important? You just mentioned both are important, but if you pick one,
Pick one. I think product market fit more important. But for me, if there's some new big narratives that I really believe in, I will put a lot of my money and my time on it. Yeah, I will spend my time and money to help verify this idea if this could be true. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I feel like seemingly the speakers are a little bit divided. It's on my side. This is more the first two speakers are more like, hey, narrative is probably more important, and Deli and Dada, they think PMF are way more important. But let's before we talk about the following questions, maybe we can take one step back, and I would like each of the speakers share their view on what is PMF, and just give one concrete example. What do you think is a PMF?
I think PMF is pretty simple, right? It's exactly two things. It's about how good is your product, and once you have your product, is there people who want to use it, right? And that's why I say narrative is important, because it obviously fits into the second side of that.
So basically, if you have more users who are actually using the product,
Yes.
you have a PMF.
Yeah. Like that's the end. The goal is to have some product that everybody wants to use, and yeah, that's the idea. So then
But in crypto, to be honest, right now we don't have any product that's everybody wants to use, right?
Well, I think one of the things that everybody says that has definitely found product market fit is speculation or trading. So centralized exchanges like Binance, like even decentralized exchanges like Hyperliquid, I think it's pretty undeniable. Uniswap, anything like this, it's pretty undeniable that the product works. In Binance's case, in Uniswap's case, and also people want to use it, right? People want to swap tokens, and we can probably confidently say as well that in years to come, as long as crypto obviously remains a thing, then it will continue to be the case because everybody wants to exchange. This still happens in Web 2 as well. So yeah, that's
Okay, so basically exchange, no matter if it's centralized or decentralized, there's definitely some sort of PMF.
I think you kind
It's a
of
good
never
example,
know.
by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You never know until you've built it, right? And then when Uniswap came out, nobody really knew, do we really want this decentralized exchange that is less efficient, is slower, but evidently so,
Yeah, so 2 words, gross margins. The only thing that matters when assessing product market fit is profitability of a company. I mean, what has a bunch of users? Well, a money printing machine, right? If I give out free money, everyone's going to want to use it. But that's not PMF. The way you assess PMF in a product agnostic to industry is whether or not people will pay more for this thing than it costs to manufacture or to deliver a service from.
You have a concrete example in crypto space.
Well, centralized exchanges have nice margins.
Sure.
Stablecoin businesses have nice margins. And L1s can have nice margins, depending on how you structure them.
Okay.
So those would be, I guess,
So basically,
Examples.
as long as your business can generate, profitability.
the objective function of a company is to make money. And so if a company is achieving with respect to that objective function, it has product market fit.
Yeah, looking at those, so it sounds like Ethereum right now is losing money, right?
It's losing product market fit,
Okay.
and it's losing money.
Sure. Delhi.
Yeah, so I think to get the real PMF, I think you have to be really important to maybe people's daily life, right? If you can be the daily app that everybody have to use, or app
So if more people want to use daily,
Money
so like
printing
frequency,
machine.
right? Frequency, yeah.
If I can print $1 for you a day, and you,
definitely gonna use it. I mean, stablecoin is a great example because it's not fulfilling like the kind of concept of digitizing the dollars, right? It's also it's better version of USD actually because it's easier for you to do cross-border payment or transfers, right? It's really changed our lives. I think nowadays, like in crypto world, everybody is using stablecoin for all sorts of things. So this is really a like kind of greatest like product market fit. Anything else is less like it's not as good as this, but it still might be relevant, right? If you are using trading apps, right, DEX or centralized exchanges. But I guess that's not for everyone. So what I think the good PMF is really just something that everyone has to use.
Got it. Okay. Dai Dai.
Help people make money.
Help him.
Help people make money.
Okay. Help people make money.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to be part of the money flow. Be part of the, be something that the people are using you to make money, but it doesn't have to be, make real profit. But people think you are helpful for them to make money, right? Yeah. So like marketplaces, right? And like asset issuers, like the infra for those, all are good business.
So basically, I think helping people make money is still a little bit, for example, if I employ somebody, right, hire somebody, I can help them make money. But I think that you are more referring to if I can solve a problem for you so that
Yeah.
you can,
Solutions.
solutions, right?
Yeah,
Solve your
solutions.
problem and then deliver more value.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
make more.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
more important is like to give more opportunities for people to make money. It's different from make real profit, right? Yeah, it's more about the opportunities.
I mean, McDonald's has product market fit, right? I mean, KFC has product market fit. I don't think people are making money from their Big Macs. People just buy it and
different.
they're willing to pay
It's
money.
different.
They're willing to pay more than the manufacturing cost for the good, right?
I mean, the
Yeah.
restaurants deliver a service to help people save time so that they can actually have their fast food, right? So in a way, that's also, making money.
But we're grasping
it's
at
money.
straws there.
Yeah,
But
so if
yeah.
you provide something, you should make people think, these days, maybe I have more opportunities to make money. But with a restaurant, I know it's not related to opportunities, right?
Sure. I think I somehow feel like all the speakers are talking about the same thing, but from slightly different angles. So that's why we jump to the next question, which is going to be more targeted, right? What is the market you focus on today? Because that's like what is the market, right? If you cannot define the market, or if then what's the market fit, right?
I
What's the
think.
market you are focusing on? Yeah.
Can you like expand on that question? What do you
So
mean?
Because the topic is talking about product market fit.
I understand.
Before we talk about product, we talk about market first, right? So what is the product you are focused on, and then we define the product, and then hopefully we can actually figure out what is product market fit.
Okay, so you mean like for Kaito in this case?
For Kaito, or maybe for yourself, but
So the-
ideally for Kaito. Yeah.
The market that we have, or we've kind of defined as, is kind of separate to crypto, which is a little bit more about financial speculation. Kaito is more focused on attention, the attention economy, right? So being able,
The attention economy.
Yeah.
Can you specify on that? Yeah.
So the idea of the attention economy is the ability for everyone we've seen uses a lot of projects use sort of KOL managers. We consider these people as part of the attention economy because, the project is buying attention, and the KOLs are selling that attention because of their influence, right? We live in an influencer age. We live in an age where attention is sort of king, and where narratives come in and all these kind of things come in. So finding your users, that's very, very important. So the attention economy, or what we're trying to build, the market, is essentially a marketplace. Like the overall goal for Kaito is actually in a marketplace to buy and sell attention, and that can come in many, many different ways, especially specifically about distribution. So making sure that people who are aligned with you are on your side and everything, but to focus on the market, that's what I would say about it.
Got it. Very clear.
So Lagrange is a zero-knowledge proof company. And one of the biggest issues and mistakes people make in the space is they think ZK is a product. It is not. The product that I sell is safety and security. Safety and security around computation, and the market I sell that into are applications that have economic value tied to the outcome of a computation. In essence, where is computation being used such that there's an economic exchange predicated on top of that? You can talk about blockchains as one of the principal use cases. And you can also talk about some of the areas we do with AI, agents and verifiable ML, ZKML, as one of the other use cases. So in the end, I sell safety and security, and I sell that to places where there's value that needs to be secured.
So the main market we're in is actually something called verifiable compute and also verifiable AI. Apparently, this one was also emerging recently. So the approach we are doing this is via trusted execution environment, which is like a more affordable way compared to other tech to really do something that blockchain can't do right now on chain. We know that pretty much right now we already have fast chains, right? Maybe no matter it's a rollups or maybe it's you're using some of the layer one like Solana, but still these chains can't really fulfill all the need that you have. For example, recently AI really created a huge demand, which none of the chains can just fulfill directly. So now we have to find a way to scale it up, but still get a way to verify everything eventually on chain. So this is where what we are building can fill the gap, right? It helps people to still run something off chain, but get it verified eventually on chain.
Cool. Dai.
The question is,
What is the market your project is focusing on?
right? Yeah, I'm focusing on chain liquidity, building a new kind of DEX. Yeah, because I think, well, the only format of on-chain liquidity we have right now is like AMM, right? But I think for the next cycle, it won't be the main liquidity source for on-chain. Yeah. The reason is, we all know the reasons, right? The low capital efficiency. But I think we will still have AMMs for like long tail assets for price discovery, but with more asset on chain, like with more money on chain, with more institutions on chain, more market makers on chain. I think we need more advanced liquidity infrastructure for this new kind of capital and the new participants in the market. Yeah. So and a specialized maker liquidity is what I'm focusing on. Yeah. So bring more liquidity sources, which is different from AMM liquidity sources. Yeah.
It is some sort of aggregation.
Not really. It's more like with Uniswap, we have the inventory-based pricing for assets, right? But I think what we can have is like risk-based pricing for assets, and this is what market makers are good at, and they want to bring their capital and their ability on chain, right? But they don't have a good enough infra for them. So I bring both market makers and the traders on chain and match them with RFQ infra for them. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so let's move on. So what is the biggest challenge for finding product market fit in your market or in your project today?
I think actually I can define the only two problems that everybody has with product market fit, and it's whether or not the
Like
product.
focus on Kaito. I know you guys are doing pretty well, but
Yeah. Okay. So for Kaito, it's actually it's the second one of those because nobody has built anything like this before, right? So in Diane's case, you're doing something where there's a proven market. We know, as I kind of spoke about, we know that everybody wants to trade, and we know that people want to provide liquidity. So this is proven. But actually, we don't know whether or not the attention economy is such a proven or how large the market is. So the product works. We have the product. It's more about our product problem is whether or not the market or the problem that we face is whether or not the market is big enough, whether or not the market has appetite for what we're building. And we actually, so that means that we actually, most of the time, we're actually talking to clients like a B2B company and then trying to see what do they want and then building for
so
that.
basically the challenge is really, you don't know how big the market size is, right? For you guys. But
Exactly.
yeah, but in Kaito's case, right, there's a huge market in Web2, which is called influencer marketing.
Exactly. So we're kind of applying this is not a blind shot in the dark for sure, right? We're pretty sure we're only building this because we're pretty sure there is a market here, and we're pretty sure it's even more valuable in crypto than it is in the Web2 market, and it's just not tapped into yet. So the idea is that we're going to bring that same market that exists in Web2, but into Web3. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the hard part about product market fit for any company is that it's a moving target. A lot of people think of product market fit like this white light you transcend into one day, and like all of a sudden your company is going to hit critical scale. But that's not the case. The reality is it's an iterative question you keep having to ask. If you hit product market fit tomorrow, with your present product in the current market you operate in, there's no guarantee that as you scale and as that market scales, you'll continue to see PMF. Will there be margin compression? Will what you build be defensible? Will there be network dynamics around your product that means that your new entrants can upseat you or not? And so I think that's one of the hard things about PMF. It is, how do you identify something that a subset of a market wants to use today? And then how can you assure that as you scale your product into that market, you continue to have PMF? And a great example of this is like L2s on Ethereum, right? Like, it was pretty evident to a lot of people that there was going to be PMF around L2s. People want block space and they want EVM block space. But the dynamics that happened as everyone was able to create very, very cheap L2 block space made it that there was way more L2s than there was actually demand for this. And it actually became counterproductive to the overall market of selling EVM block space. And so, yes, you can say you see PMF on EVM block space to make more of it, but the dynamics as you scale into that market were incongruent to actually being able to have one player capture all of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good example, but I want to hear from your, Lagrange perspective.
About like what we
what is the biggest problem today for you guys to find PMF?
Well, I would say we have PMF on a number of the products that we sell, specifically around ZKML into security-sensitive applications that use AI inference, as well as for things like roll-up proving that we do for like major roll-up ecosystems like ZK Sync. But I'd say the hardest thing is that the market in crypto to actually pay for computation is not as large as people think. Like, there's not as many transactions and not as many people using things on chain as you'd expect. There's a lot of people building infra. And if you capture all of the market of user transactions and generating proofs for them, it's still not that big. And it's very price sensitive as well.
Yeah, so basically I feel like the challenge is very similar to what Kaito was talking about, right?
Everything in crypto, you're selling
Market not big enough
You're
today.
selling into a market that has a tailwind, right? Because crypto's an emerging sector. And so if you're selling into an emerging sector, you have to be comfortable underwriting the sector's growth as part of the principal bet you're making.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge so far for us is actually getting enough user mind shares and tapping into the retail user base. Because I think it's the same kind of struggling that all the infra project would have, right? You might have pretty good adoptions in this kind of B2B situations, just like us, right? I think a lot of like project has been using TEs. Even WorldCoin has been using it for their anonymized MPC services in order to verify each individual humans. And also a couple rollups are using, especially ZK rollups are using TEs for multi-proving. I mean, these are really like proving like markets that get adoptions. But what we are really like here for is we hope we can eventually see one day end users really understand what TE is and also start like realizing that this can really help or protect them. Just like nowadays, like how people are like thinking about ZK, right? Although like I would say like most of users don't really understand it, but they think, okay, ZK is doing good for them. They think ZK is becoming kind of a must, like if they have to have maybe faster interaction with blockchains, right? In terms of scalabilities. I think a very good example of like getting this kind of adoption in user is actually Apple, because they're using the same tag, they're hiding it behind scene. You don't really need to know, but you just know that, okay, they're really doing good in terms of protecting your privacy using this kind of technology. I think this is kind of the struggling we have, but also, again, the chances we really want to explore to really figure out like the opportunity for us.
So basically, two challenges maybe. One is user experience, right? If you have really good user experience, then you don't have to educate the users, which is the second challenge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to educate the users a lot.
Difficult. Don't
Yeah.
educate users. Fight adoption.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You should never have to educate your users on why they want your product.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like
It's kind of
with
antithetical to
ZK,
BMF.
That's one of the biggest challenges.
Well, at ZK, you're just selling safety and you're selling security, right? And naturally, there's a price sensitivity that people are willing to pay for safety and security.
Agree. Yeah.
Okay, Dai.
Yes, so for DAX space, the biggest problem always are chicken eggs problems. Either you grow your takers first or you grow your makers first, right? And actually, this is the same for all of the exchanges, even for CEX, right? And now there is, but for us, the answer is clear. We focus on the maker liquidity because what is happening now is you can see all of the CEX in the competition for the liquidity distribution side, the taker liquidity, right? Say OKX has been building their Web3 wallets very well and also build a DEX aggregator, right? And Binance also joined the competition, Binance Wallet, and they are leveraging PancakeSwap, right, to do more IDOs to attract more assets issuer to launch IDO, launch their assets on Pancake, so they can grow their end users, retail traders, right? So I think OKX and Binance are fighting each other to get more retail traders, and also like BigGet and other CEX starting building their on-chain wallet and the DEX aggregator as well. So in this case, I think what the startups can do now is not fighting with them for the liquidity distribution and paying a lot of money to grow your end users. I think it's not. I think it should be focused on what they are not good at. What do you have more know-hows and more resources than them? So for our team, I think it's maker liquidity, right? Because I help building a DEX Dodo, and my co-founder has been building market maker trading firms. So we have a lot of know-hows on the market making side, the trading side, and DEX infra side. So what we are doing now is like, okay, we build a more efficient DEX, which is a RFQ trading system. We allow market makers to do the pricing on chain, and we build the pricing infra and the risk management infra for market makers. And we also hold an on-chain liquidity pool for them, allow them to borrow money from the pool and to trade with the traders. So there is basically extremely low capital cost for market makers, and they don't need to find the retail users on themselves, right? This is how we attract market makers and aggregate them. And this market making power is what those CEX need right now, because they are more focused on the liquidity distribution side.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I think to summarize, right, like solving the chicken and egg problem, right? Cold start problem is, what you guys are focused on. Okay. We're soon to run out of time. So last question, and also alpha time. Can you make a single biggest prediction for crypto PMF or crypto or your market, whatever, in the next cycle or in 3 years? What's the single biggest prediction? And very briefly, why?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, he wants.
All right. So I started the panel today by saying that narrative and product are the same thing in crypto. And that was a commentary on the fact that most things in crypto are retail facing presently. My hottest take for 3 years from now is that that's not going to be the case anymore. That there's going to be businesses in crypto that can be valued on fundamentals that don't require narrative and can structure incentives on tokens like buybacks and things like that that are going to raise their price much faster than narrative-driven tokens.
Cool. You want to go? When?
I think I can.
Okay, Dali.
Yeah. So my prediction will be, I think the best kind of PMF would happen in the AI consumer applications. Also, what we've seen right now in crypto, those crypto slash AI isn't really a good example, but we've seen great examples in Web2, right? We've seen the adoptions from like all kinds of like LM model-based business, right? These are really changing the way we do writing, coding, or even graphic designing. And I think the development on this kind of area will be a lot fast-paced, like in the next couple years. And eventually, the PMF we're looking for in this kind of AI consumer app for crypto will be much more like foundational, right? It can't be something just like helping users to do something. It has to be, just like I said before, it has to be a daily app that you're having a stickiness to, right? It's something that you eventually have to use, and you don't really feel about using it.
Yeah, so I think the DAX consolidation is happening right now. It is like what was happening in 2018 in CEX space. Yeah, so see what people are building at that time and how Binance win at the in the end, right? So I think if you are doing something that help the anti-liquidity consolidation, then you are in the right position.
And then I think mine is quite simple. I think that in crypto, there are a lot of projects that find product market fit, but it's a very niche product market fit. And then they launch tokens, and then they ruin it all because then they have to feed like 100,000 token holders instead of just feeding like a small 10-person team. If they're making $1 million, that's very, very good amount of revenue for them. So my biggest thing is I think that we'll probably see a lot of revenue generating protocols, and revenue will start to be king again. And then projects will probably stop launching tokens until they have a reason to, like, down the line after product market fit. But for right now, I think they're seeing something like Hyperliquid especially is a project that has made the founders rich without a token, before the token, and a lot of other projects will try to replicate that.
Cool. Okay, I think that concludes the panel. Yeah, let's give a round of applause to the speakers.